안녕하세요. Hello everyone. I'm pleased to introduce Korean tea today. Just as culture and language have a close relationship with each other, some of the most commonly used Korean expressions also reflect tea culture. When you'd like to talk to someone or spend time together, Korean people often say 차 한잔 하자. Let's have some tea. 차 한잔 하실 시간 있으세요? Do you have time for a cup of tea? It doesn't always mean only tea. It could be coffee or dessert, or a meal, or just a time to chat. The expression having tea together often implies socializing, communication, or interaction with other people. Then would you like some tea with me? 차 한잔 하시겠어요? Korean tea is rare to find and barely known outside of the country. Most of the tea produced in Korea is consumed domestically, and tea is made only for a couple of months from April to May, sometimes to June. It's a fairly small quantity compared to other tea growing countries that also make tea in summer and fall. In addition, except a few big tea companies, most of the Korean tea farms are of small scale and run by small families. They dedicate their lives to making tea in the hopes of passing down the tradition of tea making. It is hard but not impossible to find Korean tea outside of Korea. There are some tea companies that specialize in Korean tea or have some Korean tea in their tea collection. Hope you can find some Korean tea and enjoy the journey to the land of the morning come. Korean tea types are categorized based on the date of harvest and the size of the leaves. The first tea type we are going to talk about is Ujeon. U means rain, Jeon means before. Ujeon is made of the earliest and smallest buds and young leaves and picked before Gogu, meaning grain rain, which is the sixth date of the 24 seasonal divisions that falls on April 20th or 21st. As spring rain falls and sunshine afterwards make tea leaves grow fast and big, you don't have many days available to harvest and process Ujeon. Tea farmers can make only a small limited quantity of Ujeon, and the processing takes a lot of effort and experience skills as Ujeon contains delicate young buds. If the spring rain falls earlier than usual, or if there is a sudden frost in early spring, tea farmers can make Ujeon for only a couple of days. Due to the small limited quantity and the most skillful processing method needed, Ujeon is the most expensive but highly sought after and appreciated so much that tea lovers rush themselves to taste fresh Ujeon of the year as soon as it is available. Ujeon is also given as a special gift to loved ones or very important people. Before and after national holidays such as 설날, New Year's Day, 추석, Korean Thanksgiving Day, or special days such as Parents' Day and Teachers' Day, they are quickly sold out and it is often unavailable for Christmas gift. To enjoy the taste of Ujeon to the fullest, you need to steep the tea at a lower temperature than other types of green tea so that the young tender buds and leaves don't lose their finest taste. If not, they taste bitter. The highest quality Ujeon can produce its best flavors when it's steeped as low as 60 or 70 Celsius. Thanks to the young buds and leaves of Ujeon, it has very smooth, tender, milky flavors as well as a roasted aroma. The roasted fragrance is enhanced when it's pan-fired by hand in the traditional way. When Ujeon comes out in spring every year, don't miss out on tasting it. And when you take a look at the young bud, try opening it, and you can see another smaller younger bud inside. It is one of my favorite things to do when I drink Ujeon. The other types of Korean tea, 세작, 중작, 대작, are named after the size of the leaves. 세작, also known as 작설, got its name because the size of the leaves are as small as a sparrow's tongue. 새 refers to fine, small, and 작 means sparrow. 작설 literally means sparrow's tongue. 새작 contains slightly bigger leaves than Ujeon. 중작 has medium-sized leaves, a little bigger than 새작, and 대작 has large leaves that are picked in late May up until June. 새작 is harvested between 고구 and 입하. 입하, meaning the beginning of summer, is the 7th day of the 24 seasonal divisions and falls on May 5th or 6th. 새작 is the most commonly consumed and most well-known green tea in Korea because the price is affordable and the produce quantity is big enough to meet the demands. Even though 새작 of high quality is usually purchased directly from tea farmers, tea rooms, or specialized shops, it is not hard to find 새작 at large retail stores or supermarkets in Korea at a reasonable price. 중작 and 대작 are not as smooth and tender as 새작 due to the large size of the leaves and late harvest time, but they have rich and deep flavors of green tea. They are a little cheaper than 새작 and sometimes used in food or in mixing with other ingredients. We have been taking a look at Ujeon, 새작, 중작, and 대작, and they are all green tea types. Then you might wonder if Korea has other types of tea. Yes, Korea also produces very unique tea, 발효차. 발효 means fermentation. 차 means tea. So 발효차 means fermented tea. 발효차 technically means oxidized tea, such as yellow, white, oolong, and black tea. However, the word oxidation, 산화, is not often used in Korean language when food is in the process of being made. Just like the most well-known Korean fermented food, such as kimchi, gochujang, red chili paste, 된장, soybean paste, and 간장, soy sauce. The word 발효 has long been used for food in Korean language, and the word gives a good, healthy impression. The word 산화, oxidation itself, is usually reserved for a negative aspect, like a cut apple is oxidized at room temperature and turns brown, or metal lusting. The word 발효 is widely used when it comes to food in the making, and 발효차 gained its name from it. To avoid confusion between the real fermentation in food making and the oxidation in tea making, 발효차 is explained as 산화 발효차, meaning oxidized fermented tea. For your information, post-fermented tea or dark tea is called 후 발효차. 후 means post, after. These are all 발효차. Loose leaf tea from different tea farmers, 발효차 powder, and 발효차 made with Korean yuja. When you say 발효차 in Korea, most of the times it means traditional Korean black tea. Especially in Hadong, South Gyeongsang province, people have made and consumed 잭살차, the traditional local black tea, for a long time through generations. 잭살 is a local dialect of 작설 in Hadong, but 잭살차 is not always made of only 작설 or 새작 leaves. It also can be made of Ujeon, 중작, or 대작 leaves. When spring comes, grandmothers of each household used to say, 잭살하러 간다. I'm going to do 잭살, meaning they are going to pick tea leaves to make 잭살. When 잭살차 is processed, the tea leaves are wrapped with hanji, traditional Korean paper, and stored on the shelf under the eaves, or shaped into round press cake with a center hole, and hung up on the wall or from the ceiling. 잭살 is not only a favorite tea of the whole family, but it has also been used as a home remedy. Whenever they have abdominal pain or headache, they take the tea out and make 잭살차 with hot water or boil it with other ingredients such as pear, quince, ginger, or bamboo leaves. Unlike other typical black tea, 발효차 doesn't have bitterness. Instead, it has pleasant fragrance such as chocolate, honey, fruit, flower, or roasted grain depending on the tea artisans. In addition, 발효차 has a longer shelf life and then you can enjoy it all year round. Korea has a rich tradition in herbal tea, tijen. As you might know, herbal tea or tijen is not actually tea because it is not from the Camellia sinensis plant. Korean herbal tea or tijen is called daeyongcha, substitute tea, and they are made of root, grain, leaf, stem, fruit, flower, mushroom, and many more. When you visit Korean restaurants, whether in Korea or in other countries, you might have seen many of them serving 보리차, roasted barley tea, or 옥수수차, roasted corn tea, free of charge. Korean people often drink those tea just like water. My mom also used to make those tea in a big pot and cool it down and keep it in the refrigerator, and then we used to drink it like water. These are all Korean daeyongcha, but they are just the tip of the iceberg. 보리, roasted barley, 옥수수, roasted corn, 결명자, roasted cassia seed, 우엉, burdock, 돼지감자, Jerusalem artichoke, 갈근, arrowroot, 연잎, lotus leaf, 쑥, mugwort, 모과, quince, 배, pear, 국화, chrysanthemum, 금계국, golden wave, and many more. Some flowers are blended together and mushrooms are also used to make tea. Some teas are made in a type of chang, marmalade, such as ginger and yuja, that is also known as yuzu. And omija, 5 flavors berry, is one of my favorite summer drinks to have when I visit Korea. How many Korean teas have you tried? Have you also tried using tea leaves when you cook? Especially Ujeon and sejak are great addition to your food, such as rice, noodles, and salad. After having 1 or 2 infusions of Ujeon and sejak, try adding the steeped leaves into your food instead of throwing them out. Using 발효차, you can also make many different kinds of drinks and dessert. Have you enjoyed this introduction to Korean tea? Hope it helped you to get to know more about Korean tea, and hope you can enjoy your tea time with your loved ones with Korean tea. Thank you for watching. 감사합니다.